Is that gray hair? Ugh. Good enough.
The thing about depression is that it's not even really a mental illness. It's not a problem primarily of the mind, even. It's a self protection mechanism. It's a way that your mind is able to deal with an overwhelming amount of bullshit, and a way of protecting yourself from feeling too much. Because depression isn't like just bad feels. It's not just like feeling sad or feeling disappointed or the kind of grief that you would go through if you've like lost a loved one or had a disappointing experience of some sort. It's an emptiness. It's a numbness, an absence of feeling, an absence of affect rather than any sort of specific feeling itself. Whereas I could be also feeling kind of miserable. I could be feeling sad or angry or disappointed or generally frustrated. But when I'm also depressed, when there's like depression is affecting me, those negative emotions, those feelings that are unpleasant are less feelable, less perceptible, because it's dulling my senses, dulling my awareness of my surroundings. So I can like be walking through the world and feel like half there, feel like I'm either half drunk or half stoned or something like that. And yeah, I might be half drunk or half stoned as well, because that also makes the bad feels go away. But it doesn't really make the bad feels go away. It's just a temporary way of eliminating their sensation so that you can survive the moment. This is why I think depression and addiction are so well entrenched, intimately linked. Because addiction, the object of addiction, is usually also an anesthetic. It works in much the same way that depression works, to numb your feelings, numb your sensations, so that the bad feels aren't quite as feelable. I see it as people who have an overabundance of empathy, an overabundance of awareness and perceptibility, of ability to understand the shittiness around them, are more prone to depression, which is why there's such a link between general intelligence and predilection for depression. And I also find this the case much more in highly empathetic people as well. People who can feel the pains of others and feel the general hurt of the world around them are also more prone to this kind of thing. Because I gotta say, as a highly empathically aware, allegedly intelligent person, my experience of the world is very unpleasant. I walk around every day and I see desperation, hopelessness, loss, just a general sense of pain at the state of the world. There's so much suffering, homelessness and poverty and general destruction of the environment, and none of it's strictly necessary. None of it has to be this way. It's because of the desires of people that don't have the feelings necessary to see why this is awful and do something to correct it. And me seeing this and feeling that this is awful, I don't have the ability to correct it. And that feels terrible. So I have to see someone who is experiencing homelessness and clearly having a psychic episode, who could use all kinds of help, but not being able to do anything about it. Not having the skills, the resources, the wherewithal to be able to assist this person. I could drain my bank account, spend all of my time trying to help people, giving away my shirt and doing absolutely everything possible to help individuals, but it would just be an endless stream of more individual problems, because the problem isn't individual in nature, it's systemic in nature. And I don't have access to the levers of power to modify the system. And this frustration is what really gets to me. There are so many things I would fix about the world if I had the power to, but I don't. All I have is a YouTube channel, and I'm doing the best that I can here, but sometimes it's just too much. It's just too much to bear, and I can't hold on to it. So I go into numbing mode. I like become depressed, become numb, start playing video games to occupy the mechanisms of my mind that would be like torturing me with the knowledge that there are things wrong in the world and I can't do anything about it. This form of helplessness, this sensation of desiring to do something meaningful, to do something that'll like help to fix the problems in the world, but inept, hopeless, helpless, just utterly unable. And yeah, I can remind myself that it's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to save the world, nor should I be expected to be able to save the world. But this logical, rational way of looking at it doesn't make the bad feels go away, because whether or not I'm consciously aware of it, I'm perceiving this negativity. I'm perceiving the overwhelming sense of all the time. Every time I see something that reminds me of the every time that I get an aesthetic sense that something is wrong, it adds up, it piles up. And eventually I get to the point where I can't take it anymore and I have an episode. I feel like I'm starting to crawl my way out now. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I shaved my depression beard, which is a step in the right direction. The weather's starting to get a little bit nicer. And I feel a bit more energy, a bit more power to do something, which itself feels good. And that's kind of the ironic part about depression, is that it also prevents you from being able to do the things that might help with the depression. So I'm going to try and do some stuff now. I'm going to try and shoot the video about addiction because there's some relevance here. And if you yourself are also feeling this, and I've received a few messages from folks that are, my heart does go out to you because very indeed. Anyway, I make videos daily, and I'm about to make a rather large one. Hopefully it goes well. And so stay tuned for that in the relatively near future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through it. And I wish you the best of mental wellness. I'll see you tomorrow.